Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece episode 841. A very, very entertaining episode this week. I'm just gonna say that this is probably basically all the episodes we've gotten of the whole Cake Island. This is probably one of the most entertaining ones of them all. And to start off, the first thing I really want to talk about in the episode is surprisingly just how much the Germa were showcased. I mean, yeah, I know I gave them shit, but I think a lot of my negativity towards the Germa basically basically stem for the fact that in the beginning they were really only showcased in terms of their status as nobles, but very little of their skills as assassins, which is surprising because they're supposed to be considered the greatest, one of the greatest family of assassins in the world. But here we definitely got a lot more of them fighting, which I liked. In fact, actually, just scratch that in terms of this episode. Like the last three episodes have really helped change my opinion just slightly on Sanji's family in terms of their fighting abilities. I still think they're assholes, but in terms of their fighting abilities, I was really shocked by how much they can actually put up a fight in this episode. And at least in terms of fighting the Big Mom pirates. And I really liked like the wide variety of fights that we pretty much got in this episode between Germa and the Big Mom pirates. Although I'm sure Sanji would have a few words to say to Ichiji if he were around during that brief tussle. That pretty much the latter had with Smoothie. Like we definitely know Sanji's stance on women. So if he saw his brother fighting a woman, I'm sure he'd probably yell his ear off about that one. And one thing I really enjoyed as well about this episode is just how much of Fishman Island pretty much came back into play with Big Mom antagonizing Luffy and throwing the words he pretty much said to her right pretty much said to her right pretty much he's just the things Luffy said to her right back in his face. Like but the only difference here is that pretty much the difference is between Luffy's threat to Big Mom and Big Mom antagonizing Luffy the way she was doing in this episode is that one actually has the ability to pretty much back up what she says and as we pretty much see in this episode when we see Big Mom literally single-handedly blocking Luffy's Gear 4 Bound Man technique with one arm. One arm with of course hockey, but still one arm blocking him with one arm alone. And I definitely remember in the manga when pretty much that whole scene occurred when the Bound Man Luffy versus Big Mom scene came up. I remember that a lot of people were actually disappointed at Luffy not being able to defeat Big Mom, and I was like, or at the very least, injure her greatly. And when I remember I definitely remember vividly the whole controversy that was happening during that time. But for me, all I was saying was like, really, guys, like it would have made even less sense if he did actually injure Big Mom, considering how much the series has built up the Yonko as the most powerful pirates in the Grand Line. I'm not even saying the New World, just the Grand Line in total. The four Yonko are considered the most powerful pirates in the entire Grand Line. So yeah, it wouldn't make sense for Luffy to do any if pretty much at all long lasting damage to any of them. So yeah, at least with his current power set. And I think it did actually. That scene also did showcase just how much Luffy isn't ready for any of the Yonko, even Kaido at this point. But and the other thing I think that scene showcased even more was Big Mom was And one thing I think Big Mom reinforced in this episode more than anything else was that how was I think the one thing Big Mom did do in order to reinforce that point too is just how much she was fucking wrecking shit in this episode. Like Big Mom was going ham, she was going berserk, she was just wrecking everything in her path in this episode, and I'm like, yeah, Luffy is not ready for a fucking Yonko. He isn't. Okay, let's just get that straight right here, right now. And although side note, I definitely got to say that the art and animation on on this scene on that scene of Luffy going gear fourth against Big Mom was beautifully animated. Like actually the art and animation in general for this episode was basically was pretty much amazing, and it was another one of those art. It was one of those. It was another one of those eye candy episodes. Like there was just so much amazingness with the art and animation in this episode, and and the thing about this episode too is you can really tell just how much fun the art and animation, how much fun the animators and the art team were we're having fun in this episode just from well, like not even anything big, just from the small moments, like the way Big Mom's facial expressions were drawn, or even just how the characters moved. It really showed a lot of it really showed a lot of detail, a lot of amazing, a lot of action movement, and just a lot of it created a lot of and just a lot of everything here. It created a lot of fun moments in the episode for sure. That just made it work, and hell, even just the transitions, even just the transitions alone in the episode had a lot of fluid energy to them. So yeah, that's actually the one thing I can kind of say as a whole is that this episode, it was very energetic. There was definitely a lot of energy going on with the art and animation, and it was it was just fun. It was just a fun episode for sure. Um, so we pretty much so aside from that, we also get the reveal that Stussy is actually a CP0 agent, and the more we're getting of CP0, the more I'm starting to think that the CP0 organization are the reasons that the government has been able to easily manipulate information about the Straw Hats up to this point. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, of course, it's obvious. Like this, it was previously established that the cyberpol organizations are basically the main intelligence gathering organizations of the government. But I feel in terms of the role of manipulating that information, I think a lot of that can in fact fall on does in fact fall on CP0, and and definitely in terms of the information about the Straw Hats being easily manipulated, I think that pretty much also falls on CP0 as well. Like everything the Straw Hats have done up to this point in the Grand Line, of course excluding Dressrosa when they were like officially introduced. I think the CP0 has been kind of behind the scenes, keeping tabs on the Straw Hats, and just knowing when is the right time to manipulate information in order to make them out to be like the bad guys, basically, with and leaving out all the bits that would make the government look bad. So yeah, I think that CP0 has been behind the scenes a lot longer than pretty much the series itself has actually shown for sure. And yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, of all people to stand out in terms of comedic levity for the episode, I never expected it to be Vito, of all people. I mean, the dude was acting like a total fanboy of the Vin Smokes and Germa 666. Like, just and just in the way the dude was acting had me fucking laughing and almost rolling on the floor a lot of the times. And in those brief moments, I almost forgot that, oh yeah, this guy's a crew member that serves under one of the worst under that pretty much serves under one of the worst generation. And yeah, I couldn't stop laughing at Vito in this episode. He was just too fucking funny as hell. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Death Not Enemy, signing off. Better guys.